There is a podcast about an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years.
Hello and welcome back to Could It Be, an Oak Island podcast. We are your hosts, Deidre and Dustin White.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Not too shabby, pretty uneventful week, but good.
Uneventful. I've had a pretty fun week.
That doesn't mean it's not uneventful. I don't know. You having parties without me?
No. Doing a lot of research, though.
Yeah.
And that's fun for me.
It is fun.
Okay.
It's a Bobby Dazzler of a time.
Yeah, and then we did have Valentine's Day, so happy belated Valentine's Day to everybody.
Happy belated Valentine's Day, everybody.
Yeah, we did our kind of traditional Valentine's Day thing.
Mm-hmm. So we had a heart-shaped pizza, actually 2 of them, with the children. And that's what tradition demands, is that we continue eating heart-shaped pizza on Valentine's Day. It's kind of our jam.
Yeah, it was yummy. Well, we do the the pumpkin-shaped pizza for Halloween too, right?
Yes, we do. We don't do the heart shape on the wrong holiday. I don't think they'd even make it for us.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, probably not is a good guess. Anyways, what else this week? Working on treasure hunts as usual.
We always work on treasure hunts.
That's a given.
In fact, there's a new one that started recently. We think we have a good lead on where the treasure can be found. If anybody's in Tennessee and wants to maybe help us locate this treasure, why don't you shoot us an email and we can, maybe work together and find a treasure.
Yeah, maybe we can connect with some boots on the ground people. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Well, it's going to be fun, but I'm a little nervous if you open up the floodgates to our inbox and then we have an army of people.
You think we have like 1,000 people in Tennessee that listen to us?
Maybe.
Probably not.
No, I don't think so. It'd probably show up on like our top 10 places for listeners or something if we had only Tennessee listeners.
Yeah, right. I also want to say thanks for everybody that continues to listen to us. We actually had our biggest week last week as far as downloads, so
that's true. That was super exciting.
Yeah, so thank you. One more thing before we start the show, I do want to remind everybody that it's next Tuesday that we do our drawing for the book by Randall Sullivan that was featured on this last episode of The Curse of Oak Island, called The Curse of Oak Island.
Correct. I was just thinking about this yesterday. So we said we were going to go live on the 19th, but does that mean people can enter all the way up until when? What's our cutoff?
That's a good question. They can. I don't expect a whole bunch of people rushing all at the end, but we're going to do the drawing at, I think, 5:45 Pacific time, which would be 8:45 East Coast time. That's before the episode would be due to start.
Correct.
And let's do a cutoff time of...
I was going to say 8, but I guess that would be...
Yeah, but we need to have time to enter everybody's name into this computer program we have that...
Going to randomize them.
Yeah, randomize the winner. How about let's do 3 hours before that would be the cutoff. How does that sound?
That works. Okay, so you heard it here first. 3 hours prior.
So that's 2:30 on the West Coast.
Yes.
And 2:45 on the West Coast, 5:45 on the East Coast. That'll give us time to enter all the names. That we have I think we're getting close to 300 entrants, so it's going to take a while to enter everybody's name into the system.
Very true, but it's exciting. I can't wait to go ahead and do that, and this giveaway. We've had a lot more entries than I anticipated.
Yes, and we haven't actually had a chance to read this book yet. It's been sitting on our shelf for quite some time, but we're not going to read your copy, whoever the winner is.
Exactly.
So we will go out and buy ourselves copies at some point, and when we're ready to read it. But we're thinking that maybe, and we'd like your guys' feedback on this, after the season is over, the regular television series season, doing a kind of dissection of the book, do maybe read a chapter or two at a time and talk about it on the podcast so we could kind of keep the podcast going during the off season. So what would you guys think about that?
I don't know about everybody else, but I think that would be fun. It's not like we can read the chapters on the air, nor would we.
No, we just talk about kind of what is going on in the chapters, and maybe, have, if people kind of read it with us, or maybe they read the chapter before we podcast about it, they can, put their 2 cents in, and we can, discuss that.
Yeah, it'll be nice to kind of have the discussion about the different histories and all that fun stuff. Also, we're hoping to have some other bonus content to air during that time, so that we don't just go away and fizzle off. You can have Oak Island all year.
That's the plan. Hopefully interviews, fun one-off podcasts. Yeah, we'll just see what we can come up with. We got some time before that happens, so we got time to plan some of this out.
Yep, we've got some time to plan it out. We've also been spitballing, so we're ready to go. But right now, we need to focus on this season.
Yes, we do. And before we start, I don't know how many people are exactly aware of this, but the next episode is not a normal episode. It's like a Maddie Blake special about the paranormal of Oak Island. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be airing at 9 o'clock, Eastern and Pacific, because, it's 3-hour time difference. But it's going to be airing in place of a regular kind of episode. The next new episode will be the following week.
Well, this is a new episode. It's just, okay,
it's not a regular episode.
It's not a typical episode. It'll be new. We'll chat about it. It should be interesting to see what you and I say afterwards. You're more into, you're into the alien thing, but not really the paranormal ghost thing.
I'm really into Bigfoot.
Okay, well, I don't think Bigfoot's hanging out on Oak Island.
How do you know?
I know things. No, this is supposed to help explain the curse of Oak Island, is kind of what I took away from the preview.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. I'm feeling really skeptical about it.
I don't know. I think I probably enjoy the Maddie Blake stuff more than you do.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait and see.
I'm very curious of what everybody else thinks. Like, if they were, when they saw that, they were super excited to kind of get into that side of the island about all the unexplained and the paranormal, or if they're going to be really missing our typical dig.
Yeah. No, we'll see. I'll try to reach out to Doug to see if he can, maybe if we can do the interview we were hoping to do with him to be during that week as well, to give a little more content if we're not getting a regular episode.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll try. We'll try. He's a busy guy.
He is a busy guy. They're all busy. This is also their, one chance to have some downtime, is my guess.
Yeah. So we appreciate that Doug would, honor us with his presence to tell us what he knows. He's one of the most knowledgeable guys out there, I think.
All right. Should we dive right in?
Yes. What happened this episode? Good stuff.
All kinds of crazy. But it is Oak Island.
Yeah, one thing that didn't happen this episode, Craig did not get a copy of The Curse of Oak Island by Randall Sullivan.
Man, they're in the war room. He only brought 2 books. If you only brought 2 books, or I don't know, I feel like whoever was filming should have known.
Yeah, they should have been like, hey, Craig, why don't you come over to the money pit and look at this thing with us.
Hey, I left something in the car. So It's not like, I brought the first 2 books. Sorry, Craig, you don't get one.
Poor Craig. I'm pretty sure Craig spent more money on this treasure hunt than Rick has, too.
You never know. Okay, we know. But poor Craig.
Yeah.
It just made the whole situation really awkward.
Yeah, well, what can you do? If you only brought 2 copies of the book and there's a third wheel there, you can't, you're not going to magically make a third copy appear. So
that being said, if it were me, I probably would have brought a box of books just to be safe. Maybe he did. Who knows?
Yeah, well, those are the first 2 copies off of the...
Hot off the presses.
Hot off the presses, so they're probably, he was waiting down at the end of the assembly line of the book, or however it's made. He was at the book bindery.
He was at the book bindery in Halifax?
Yeah, probably.
Probably did it himself and beat leather on a stone, and now it's got encryptions in it, and...
Yeah, I wonder if there's something hidden under the cover of that, the dust jacket. We've seen a book like that.
Yeah. That was good old breakfast, tea, and bourbon. But, we haven't taken the dust jacket off this one.
Yeah, maybe there's a treasure map.
It's hilarious when Marty, is looking at the cover. He's like, that's probably what the island looks like under there.
Like a big skull.
Yes. I was like, oh, yeah, good point. I could see the feeling.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was really, if we're going to start in the war room in that whole scene, Rick asks Randall, woke up and you were in charge. You got one swing at the bat. What would be your goal? What are you trying to do? And he says
he would look for an underground entrance.
Yeah, an underwater.
Or underwater, my bad.
A entrance that is now underwater that may not have been before or something like that. And I was like, well, isn't that just interesting?
Yeah.
And then shortly, not too long after that, when we're talking about the concrete, and then they show the super sped up, like the aqueduct scene that makes you nauseous when you look at it, because it's like zoom, 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 all around the corners. And I was like, man, I just said aqueducts like 2 or 1.
No, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I feel like they must have heard the podcast and been like, that's the one. We're going to go with that.
Except for this whole thing's been filmed like months ago, and they've been in post-production the whole time making it look...
Whatever. That's why it was so fast. They had to speed it up so you couldn't see all the mistakes in the animation there, because they're like, that Deidre, right. She's smart.
Well, either that or you saw an advanced screening of this episode and you just took the idea.
If I saw an advanced screening, I'd have a lot better insight and... not so unclever things to say. Some more knowledge, if you will.
You're all about the wit, apparently.
Apparently. Everybody keeps talking about the wit, and I can only assume they're referring to me.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I'll claim that, whatever.
Yeah, we've had like a few emails and
a couple reviews
about
the wit.
About Deidre's wit.
Well, only one of them actually pointed out my wit, but now anytime wit comes up, I'm just going to take credit for it.
You're claiming the wittiness.
So whoever put that in my head, I am so sorry. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not sorry at all. Poor Dustin has to put up with it, though.
Yeah, well, whatever.
I'm like, I'm the witty one in the relationship.
That's fine.
That's very witty of me.
Yep, that's good. So back to the
back to
Randall
Oak
Sullivan.
Island.
Yeah. So yeah, the aqueduct is a thing, or at least a theory of how they would move water and have maybe the reasoning for the concrete underwater.
Yeah, because it's been speculated, surprise, that you would have to have these types of materials in order to create these booby trap tunnels, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
So here we are, digging in the Smith's Cove.
Well, before we move to Smith's Cove, I'm not quite finished with Randall Sullivan
I am so
yet.
sorry.
Yeah, well, he was mentioning that he completely believes the origin story of the discovery of the money pit between the friends of Daniel McGinnis, Anthony Vaughn, and John Smith, right?
Correct.
I wasn't aware that was very disputed.
I wasn't either. I've, read and listened to a couple different things about it, and it feels like that is the only thing that is consistent.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've heard of it referred to as the origin story, though, even though technically it's in the middle.
Yeah, it is in the middle. Yeah, it's basically the moment Clark Kent crashed to Earth, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So is that what's in the lead box that's hidden underground?
A child?
I was going to go with kryptonite, but all right. Since they're talking about manuscripts buried with mercury in a lead box underground, I'm like, geez, don't open that.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Well, that was one of the other things Randall Sullivan touched on, too, that he thinks that because of the commitment that whoever buried whatever it was on Oak Island was so large that it's more likely some kind of grander treasure than just gold.
Exactly.
And more important,
And why he's been so keen on the Francis Bacon story.
Yeah. Well, it was funny when he was... telling his Francis Bacon story, that I forgot. I didn't catch the name of the book, or was it a letter or something? Or
After
a
he
poem?
died, his assistant had published a collection of his works.
Yeah.
It was probably published before then too. I really want to look into reading that one.
Yeah.
But like you said, he was talking about the work of Francis Bacon that was published, and that the easiest way to instruct someone is with a treasure hunt.
Yeah, and he said something about he would suggest digging a pit on the seashore.
Yes. So let me see here. It was so one of the first instructions is dig a pit upon the seashore.
Yeah.
And then above the high water mark.
Down below the water level or water table.
Which is just crazy. It makes me really want to go find this Francis Bacon writing. So we're some of those people that actually own things like encyclopedias. Yes, encyclopedias, as in more than one. But we have ones with Aristotle and all the different masters. And of course, it's an incomplete set. And we happen to be missing the Francis Bacon book. And I went to go look for it because I wanted to find the collection of writings. No Francis Bacon. I totally came up short. I was bummed.
Sorry, babe.
Oh, bother.
Well, maybe you could go find that one volume on eBay or something.
I don't need it that bad.
Okay.
I bet you if I just type it in, I could find it. But if anybody else has read this Francis Bacon writing, please tell us where the gold is.
That would be nice.
It would be very nice.
Yeah. So, do you have anything else concerning Mr. Randall Sullivan's presence on the island for this episode?
Just that we're going to be giving away one of his books, and he is a very good researcher, is my understanding. So I really want to dive on into that. So maybe we should go get a copy for ourselves.
Yeah, maybe we should try to get him on for an interview in the off season too.
Ooh,
We could try.
We can try. Hey, can't believe anybody has talked to us and said yes for interviews at all. So here we go.
Yeah. So what's next?
What's next? Maybe the elephant or the concrete in the room
Down at Smith's Cove.
down at Smith's Cove. So we have this concrete wall. Can we call this Laird's Wall?
It is Laird's Wall.
Is it officially Laird's Wall?
It better be.
Well, they keep saying that Laird found it. So
We got Billy's Wall still.
yep, we have Billy's Wall. We have Laird's Wall. Laird has rubber pipes coming out of his wall that are plugged.
Yeah.
Potentially rubber. I mean,
How many? How many pipes?
Oh, that's the debate. We see 2.
Yes.
But then when Rick and Dave go out to visit Dan, he draws 3 in the wall and not 2.
He does draw 3 circles. It was great to see Dan Blankenship, by the way.
Yes, it was.
He's always fun to see.
Oh man, that guy, he is great, and he's funny.
Yeah. Well, it was just funny that Rick was like, well, we thought we were going out to Smith's Cove to get some answers, and, we come away with more questions, right?
Yeah, he's sitting there, he looks so defeated. Just like crushed. He's like, this is supposed to be straightforward.
Yeah, but then you get Dan giggling and saying, back to the drawing board.
Yeah. And he goes, and Rick's like, it just keeps getting, and then Gary, wonkia and wonkia.
Yeah.
Wonky is the word.
Wonky is the word.
That's good.
That was funny. Gary was out there metal detecting the wall to ensure that there's no
Metal, which would
embedded
make it
in
more
or
modern.
whatever. Yeah. Well,
In theory.
the pipes were metal, weren't they?
No. We just said that the pipes were rubber.
No, I thought they had rubber stuffed into them. I thought they were still metal pipes.
He was saying rubber pipes. And
I guess I'll have to watch that scene again because I got a different impression.
you didn't. Yeah, you better watch again. I've seen it like a billion times since it aired. You need to catch up.
I guess so.
But Laird was saying he had found rubber from the 1850s. So it's not out of the question, but when they send pictures over to Rick and Craig and they all meet up, I mean telephone, no, video phone. Okay, let me try this again. Maybe they Skype.
I guess.
And he says, yeah, I'm super confused like you guys. Is it possible that the pipes came after the concrete wall.
You know, anything's possible, but something tells me I think you're wrong about the pipes being
I'm
plastic.
not.
I think they're metal, and that what they were talking about was the rubber was stuffed into the pipes.
You
Sorry.
can say this, but I am standing firm. And as soon as this episode is over, we're going to watch and we're going to find out who's right or wrong. And then you guys can laugh at us later because now you are all debating it.
Well, Dan said that it would have to be prior to 1950 because that was when the Restalls started excavating and they didn't do anything that deep. So it could have been any time before that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm just having a trouble believing that they had these rubber tubes back prior to that time. I don't know when rubber tubes were.
Well, and they're calling them rubber, but it could be a rubber type substance. It could be something that now feels like rubber because it's been underwater for so I don't know what kind of substance would do that.
Yeah, well, sorry. I'm thinking it's metal pipes and something stuffed into them that is rubber-like but not rubber.
See,
so we'll have to wait and see what they do when they do some testing on that
or
stuff.
we'll just rewatch that part of this episode and we'll be good to go. So anyways, said tubes coming out of Laird's wall. We don't know if there are 2 or 3. I'm going with 2, and Rick just got carried away with his circles.
I don't know. I saw somebody post a screenshot of a weird kind of camera angle that you can maybe even see 4 pipes in the wall later on. So,
okay,
I know
so
you watched
this
it a million times, but you might want to go watch it again.
Okay, well, you may want to listen again when they call them rubber, and then he touches them and was like, yeah, they aren't metal, see, they're rubber, blah, blah, blah. And they go into Mr. Goodyear and how, you know, it hadn't been refined until blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it was like the late 1830s.
Yes, but it was discovered well before then.
Okay.
Whatever.
Maybe we should move on.
Maybe we should. So, concrete. I did see someone suggest that the concrete could have been mixed and then dropped into place once the concrete had already formed, like in blocks. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I haven't given it much thought. I don't know who said it. It was either probably Rick or Marty. They were saying that even back in the Roman times, they can make some concrete that can solidify underwater. So that seems more likely, but who knows? Like, I mean, it doesn't seem likely that the Romans came and did it, but that technique was used.
I don't know. I don't count the Romans out anymore. I don't count the Vikings. I don't count out fairies.
Was it
I
the
don't
Aztecs?
count out. It might have been the Aztecs. At this point, it's all
I bet
on
it
the
was
table.
Santa Claus.
Nah, he likes sleds
Okay.
and flying. This would be way too complicated for Santa.
So I was just trying to get you to agree the most ridiculous thing. So
No, yeah, I'm not taking any of it off the table. I mean, it's more likely Easter Bunny than Santa, though.
Okay.
So I thought this was interesting when Gary had mentioned he thinks that the
Slipway?
is the glory road.
Yeah.
I was like, geez,
That's
that's
pretty
intense.
cool. Yeah, that makes some sense.
Do you think Billy is like sitting on the other part of the glory road? Like with the excavator and then like who knows what he's sitting on over there?
I don't know what you're talking about now.
No, because, like, you know, the excavator, I see it over there on, like, this nice platform, and they're digging in, and I'm like, man, the glory road keeps coming right over to it. Maybe he's sitting on the rest of the glory road, and we got to move him back a bit.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, Gary is saying that he thinks that it may have been at one time part of a giant kind of roller system that can move potentially a large treasure up to the money pit.
We've talked about this idea many times over about it being a rolling system.
Yes.
But the idea of the glory road to the money pit is a new idea. But it would make sense because why would you just roll it off the shore and then leave it there?
It's basically the same thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, cool.
And they want to dig down underneath it. At least that's what everybody keeps saying. Because apparently the deeper we get, the crazier it is down there.
True that.
True that.
But Randall Sullivan thinks that I don't know if he said it or not, but he thinks there's an entrance that is now underwater.
Yes, that's what he said.
But is that how they would have got the treasure in too? Or is that where Gary's suggesting they took the treasure and then maybe lowered it down? Seems easier if they do it what's underwater now and tunneled in to take it in that way. So one of them's right, one of them's wrong.
True. I mean, the Glory Road could lead to this underground entrance, which is if it's like they're saying in all of these different graphics that you see it sloped down, you could just kind of roller on in and down.
Yeah, like
a water slide.
One of the flood tunnels before it got flooded.
Yeah. Well, they throw a little water in there, slip it up, whoop, and then treasure goes in. Maybe that's how the art got in there. I think it makes sense. And
yeah, well, you know which historical figure loved water slides? Like somebody from back in the day. Yeah, there's one historical figure that loved water slides.
Caesar?
No, Napoleon.
Nope. Okay. Wow.
Have you ever seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Oh my gosh. You need to leave them in the past. Like a long time ago. I can still remember.
Okay.
No. Leave Napoleon elsewhere.
Okay. My bad.
He liked
He did. He loved going on the water slide.
Oh man. I'm sorry, guys. I don't mean to waste your time with Bill and Ted. I mean, we got things like Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny to worry about, not time traveling.
If we had Bill and Ted, it might be a little easier to go back and, I would go back to when Daniel McGinnis found the impression in the ground.
What are you going to do? Kidnap him and bring him here?
Verify.
Verify what?
I take my phone, I take some pictures.
He'd be like, what is that? And he wouldn't even know what Star Trek is. So it's not like you could compare it to that.
What the heck? Who said anything about Star Trek?
Because your phone. You know how, when I was young, you think of things like weird, beam me up, Scotty, or boop, 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 boop. Only that futuristic stuff comes from sci-fi. And I guess sci-fi probably wasn't actually a thing in Daniel McGinnis's
Nope, not
time.
really.
They didn't think of weird things like Paranormal Activity, where we have to have a extra episode about it, and aliens.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was funny. My bad.
It's funny, but concerning that you might think it's true.
Who said that?
Oh, no.
It's a joke.
You're the one that thinks the pipes are metal. Oi, I don't even know.
Okay.
So Dan pointed out something good, Dan Hensky. He said, why would someone with the records that they do have, this hasn't been on anything. So to do something that monumentous or find something like that, you would think there would be a record of it.
Yeah, Rick was talking about that too.
Yes.
He said, it's crazy. Everybody thinks that they're right on top of the treasure, and they forget to kind of document what they have done.
Yes, because when you're looking at the glory of the treasure, the idea of where it's at, why are you looking for extra stuff and doing surveys or writing it down? You don't think someone's going to come behind you and you're going to give them the information.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing that when we entered the 1900s, lots of documentation started happening, because Dunsfield wasn't very good to the land, but he kept really good records.
Yes, and
so did Dan Blankenship and Fred Nolan. Fred Nolan surveyed everything,
Yeah. Oh man, there are so many people that have been on there looking. I mean, they talk about the churro company, who, by the way, every time they say that, I think they say churro, and I think of that yummy sweet snack.
Yeah, you mean a churro?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you said?
I think that's what I said.
My bad. Yes.
So in my mind, I have just decided that company is like a trip to Disneyland with the best churros ever.
Yeah, I want to go get a Disneyland churro right now.
Oh man, that sounds delicious. I haven't been there in a very long time.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I need a churro. So the churro company, ooh,
they had good chimichangas.
They
remember?
did. Yeah. It is late and we're thinking about food. That's a problem. Okay, so we already talked about the Glory Road. We talked about some concrete, debated over what the pipes are made out of. We'll have to settle that debate later, here very soon. Laird is like, I've never seen anything like this underwater.
Yeah, he was
Wow.
still kind of tickled about finding that wall.
Yeah.
You know, he had more smiles on his face than
Well,
other episodes.
he uncovers the pipe. He's like, oh, man. like, what can you do but laugh
Yeah,
at
he's
that
like-
point?
Yeah, he's like, what else?
No, he's like,
What-
what else? What else? Where's Santa?
Yeah.
Rick, you're going to want to see this.
Yeah.
And then we talked about them going to Dan's house.
Yes.
Dan. So if you're asking if this is something I've ever seen, the answer is obviously no. I've been like, all right. I know, man. I know. Back to the drawing board. So
Yeah, we need to reach out to the History Channel to see if we could get the episode one day early so that we can record on the same day that the episode airs and have the podcast ready to go the next morning.
that'd be great. But what's that have to do with Dan's house?
I don't know.
I don't know. That seemed really.
I'm
very confused.
My bad. I thought you were done with your thought.
Man, yeah, but even the segue was really bad there. It didn't even work. You're like, you know.
Random
It's like
thought,
this
okay?
random thought bubble. Boop, 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 boop. What we need to do is contact the History Channel. See if we can see it early. Oh, no.
Okay.
You cracked me
Okay,
up.
stop making fun of me.
Fine. Okay.
Not gonna happen.
You're right. Money Pit. That was a big thing.
Money Pit. Yeah, that was exciting.
It was exciting. So
We got to see Jack doing what he does best.
We did after, they're digging out of the can, doing the hammer grab after moving the case on up and down.
Up and down, shimmy up, shimmy down.
Shimmy up.
Well, they were mostly
shimmy
shimmying back down, weren't they?
Well, you have to come back up before you can go back down. They were wanting to get some more spoils in the can, and
That they did. They found some cool stuff.
they did. Looks like they're using a different hammer grab this year. Have
Yeah,
we
it's
already
got-
talked about that?
No, but it's got like a kind of like a more of a interlocking claw on the end or something, huh?
The claw.
It moves.
Okay, so for those of you that didn't get that, it was a Toy Story reference.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm sure
good
they all
stuff.
got it. Most of them.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wanted to help someone out, discover a good
Okay.
movie.
Good job.
Anyways, so yeah, they're pulling it out and they put it in the excavator, the dump truck. I don't know. Emma could tell us what
Yeah.
it is.
Emma's our daughter.
Yeah, she's way smarter than us.
Yeah. It was
Yes.
like some kind of dump truck or scoop.
It definitely was not a dump truck because those.
Well,
that's
sorry.
like what the garbage man comes in. But yes, I know what you mean. I'm picking up what you're putting down. See, obviously our child is smarter than us. They're looking through, and Craig and Rick are like pulling out big old chunks of wood,
Yeah, just grabbing in handfuls of mud and wood.
and Craig's thinking this is not the area I expected to see anything from the chapel vault,
Yeah, big chunks of wood.
but I guess it very well could be. But I guess since when you're moving the can all over the place,
Yeah, well,
makes sense to me.
they likely push some stuff back down too.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it was 168 feet, if I remember right.
Yes, 168
When they
feet
started
when they
grabbing
did that first grab.
Yeah.
And Jack's looking through spoils.
Yep. Dirty Jack is back.
Dirty Jack is back.
I posted that on Twitter the other day and got a lot of tweets or likes and retweets.
Look at you killing it on the Twitter.
Yeah.
You don't even realize that it's not a Twitter page, and you're killing it on
Do you
the
have
Twitter.
to beat a dead horse?
Yes,
I-
obviously.
I get it now, okay?
I don't know. You always ask.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, I'll leave it alone. That being said, he's not as dirty as he was last season.
Yeah, it still got pretty dirty.
He was definitely turning a different color, but
Did you notice that when they went kind of after he was looking at some spoils, they would like cut to him talking straight to the camera, and he was wearing like a blue coat.
yes,
He got some new clothes.
he did.
He gets a special outfit when he's doing.
When he's spraying so he
Yeah.
doesn't freeze to death.
Yeah, it was funny. I think I saw somebody on Facebook mention, "Oh, that's just his twin brother John,
That's his twin brother, John.
John and Jack,
John Jacob Jingleheimer.
something like that."
Vaguely.
His name is my name too.
His name is my name too. Oh man. Oh man, I can't even. Okay,
I'm glad you
so
like that.
yeah, that was good. So they've got the hose and the fire hose that they're spraying very intensely, which has definitely got some pushback there on the different forums. People are like, turn down the hose, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty easy to push those pieces of leather that they may have found or the possible parchment pieces through the grate.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I can understand that. But, hey, if you don't use the high pressure, you're just going to be left with a thing of mud in front of you, I think, you know?
Yeah, and to be real, I don't know anything about fire hoses.
But guess what? I bet you they know a lot.
I bet you Jack has spent a lot of time.
Yeah, why would they do something that's, you know, that would negatively affect their work, you know?
Well, they wouldn't on purpose.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
Well, I'm sure a little bit happens, but...
I mean, look at the entire island. All kinds of crazy going on.
Yeah, I think they try to take care of the island
They
as much
do.
as possible.
They do. And they're looking through the spoils, and they find... What's the first thing that comes up is some parchment.
No, I think it wasn't like the black leather pieces.
Yeah, so we ended up finding, irregardless, in the money pit, it was parchment, leather pieces,
and a possible top pocket human bone.
Yes, that Jack got credit for, even though Dan Henske found it.
Dan Henske, that's Dan's bone.
Everybody has a list of fines, and Dan gets a bone. If they don't even know if it's a bone yet.
Throw the guy a bone, man.
Throw the guy a bone. Oh man, my side hurts. Oh man, I've got a plastic bag for that. Oh man. Poor Dan. He's been working on the island how long, and the first thing he gets thrown to him is a bone.
And then it gets taken away. Poor guy.
I guess technically Jack hasn't found anything then, because, you know, he took that. Well, okay, so what, Dan gets, or Jack, whoever it is. So Jack gets parchment. I think he's trying to glue a book together or something. Wow, poor Dan.
Something like that. Oh my gosh, that was pretty good.
That was good. Everybody gets a list of things they found.
Yeah.
And Dan gets thrown a bone. Oh man, I'm be really bummed if it turns out not to be bone now, and because remember Craig's
it's just like a piece of petrified wood or something.
It's like a piece of wood. He's like, I know that could have been just, you know, up against a piece of wood. He comes back and it's only wood. Oh.
Something tells me they wouldn't have shown it at all if it wasn't a bone. So
maybe it'll be something cooler. I don't know what's cooler, but
yeah.
But then it gets taken away. Oh man.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know. But so we, as I've said a billion times, the leather and the parchment, which I think is actually really fascinating because there's no reason for it to be down there. I've joked that maybe it's just someone's like novella that was working and digging, and on break they'd sit down and read it and then it fell out of their pocket.
Could be.
It could be. But back then they didn't do books that way.
Yeah, they did not excavate, or, you know, they didn't drill down that deep back in the day. This is, I think, brand new, unreached territory. That's why they're digging in that depth.
So you don't think this is some person's random paperback?
I don't think so.
That's good, because I definitely don't think so either.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just a little off kilter there after that. Money
Well,
pit.
wait. What about when we were going through the spoils, right?
Okay.
Jack's like, "Hey, look at this, Charles,"
That's right.
and Charles is like, "Hey, what is that? Let me see." And what were you saying while we were watching it?
Yeah, I was watching one of the it was either a live tweet or one of the live feeds on Reddit or something. And when they pull it up and he hands it over to Charles, someone goes, "No, don't give it to Charles."
He'll hide the evidence.
Because obviously he's going to like destroy it or hide the evidence cuz there's this conspiracy. And I just started busting up because the whole thought of he gives it to Charles and he like scurries away. He's like, I brought a bag.
Yeah, well, Jack was quick to say, "Let's go show Rick," but it almost looked like Charles was hesitant to go to Rick. You know,
sneaky.
so that might
I
be
don't know.
Mr. Mason doing his thing.
Maybe Charles has converted Jack, and they're actually a team. They have an alliance. Could be a thing. Maybe he needs someone there helping him out. Moving stuff around. Never know.
Maybe.
That sounds like a fun plan. I could see them doing that. Whatevs. No?
Yeah, maybe. I doubt it, but sure.
So
but I just thought that was funny.
That was really, really funny.
Yeah.
Jack's super excited about the bone when they're all talking about it. I don't know if
he's like, "Look, you can see that's where the marrow goes."
Yeah. I'm like, okay. Maybe
Dr. Jack.
Yeah, that was like I was thinking, what's your major? But then I feel, is it just me or does Rick like totally shut him down all of a sudden? It's not about being right or wrong. It's, we're here to get the answers.
It's about finding that one thing.
That one thing and the truth and applying real science. I was like, ooh. Yikes.
He didn't shut him down. He was just saying...
I think he was trying to bring his excitement down a notch.
Yeah. I think Jack has every right to be excited.
He does.
Yeah.
Because the marrow goes right there. Or something.
So are we going to call the paper or the parchment and stuff Jack's paper?
The Book of Jack. I don't know. We got to find something clever.
Yeah, I hope we find I hope you find something cooler that we can name after him.
Yeah, I mean, Dan's bone. Them bones.
Yeah, well, they did take the paper and the possible leather to the research center.
That was really cool.
And they showed it to Paul and Doug and got their opinions. And their opinions were basically, "Oh, yeah, looks interesting. Let's go. We should take this to an expert."
That's what everybody kept saying this episode. Another one for the experts,
yeah.
Which is good.
Well, I think Paul and Doug are experts, but they're experts in research, not necessarily the experts of telling if something's parchment or not.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason people have specialties.
Exactly. But it was cool to get a really close look at, especially the parchment, but the leather too.
Agreed. It was interesting because the one side had red on it, and that's a pretty big deal. So we talk about what would be buried there at Oak Island that would be so important, something on paper, or whether it's, I don't know. But books used to be a really big, like a rare and valuable thing, right? They were handwritten. They were all individually done.
That was back in the day when nobody really knew how to read.
Yeah. And unless you were educated, and that would mean then that you were probably of a upper class. The only exception and the most widely printed book was a Bible. And a lot of times, not everybody had one, if we're looking further back. So it would make sense that manuscripts or something of great importance would be documented on paper underground. We're not talking about things that have used a printing press, even though, we're talking about a book bindery here. Maybe because when he flipped over that paper, they talked about how smooth it was on the one side. There really didn't look to be anything there.
Yeah. Except for maybe a fold, right? Or
maybe.
Was that on the other side?
So then,
I don't remember.
Is it maybe a scroll instead of
like
a book?
I don't know. The leather tells me book, but
Well,
Maybe it was encased in something.
that was my thought. Could it have been wrapped in the leather just to
Sure.
protect it? Or could the leather be a different book? I mean,
Sure.
who knows? Maybe it's a whole library down there.
Library of Alexandria?
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe.
No, it could be
That's
at
what
this point.
Isn't that what Nicolas Cage found?
Yeah, that's true. Didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Good job.
Yep.
But
We need Nicolas Cage.
no, I think I'm good. I'm good. Maybe I need another adventurer here.
Indiana Jones?
Yes. Or Batman.
He'd get to the bottom of the pit?
Yes. He would. He totally would. Even if there was snakes down there, he'll conquer his fears.
I don't think there's snakes down there, so I think he's good.
We have no idea what's down there. I mean, we don't even know who buried this thing here. I can't.
You want another adventure? How about John Chatterton? Remember him? He's the diver that went down in 10X.
Oh, yeah, man.
That guy's brave.
Yes, very, very brave. That's just crazy. That's bananas. Let's see here. Oh, Randall Sullivan, he mentions about the additional flood tunnels that we've talked about in the past.
Yeah.
Where we saw the
dye
go out. And I didn't see anything about this until this last week when they're saying Dan saw was it 3 or 4 looks like ice holes in the South Bay.
Oh, yeah.
And they were thinking that could have been because there's another system, like a flood system. That makes sense.
They were saying they've only been seen twice, right? In the 80s.
Well, he saw them, took note, and then they were there again the next year.
Yeah, and they took a picture.
But I don't think anyone's actually noted anything after that. Whether or not they disappeared or not, we don't know.
Maybe they're prepping us for the next episode and they see that again or something, because they're doing a lot of stuff out in the water.
Yeah, we saw something about an anchor, right? Potentially.
Yep, that's something they mentioned this season on the Curse of Oak Island. On the first episode.
Yep,
was one of the things they were doing. They had Alex Lagina out, wearing his scuba gear, looking for an anchor. So yeah,
that's cool. That I'm very interested in that because you and I have talked multiple times about this dye that has come out into multiple places.
Yeah, and they showed a new graphic with multiple flood tunnels all of a sudden.
Oh yeah,
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it's weird because we've talked about multiple flood tunnels multiple times, but we're only just now visually.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot to take in.
It is. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to do. It's a little crazy. There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
Wow. That's all I have to say. Wow.
That's all I got to say about that.
What? So what else do we see? Okay, so next time when we see all these flashes.
Well, we already mentioned the anchor.
Someone says medieval book, but we don't know if that was just someone, like them identifying a medieval book because of the drop caps and all that fun stuff, or if it's someone just saying it could have been from a medieval book.
Yeah, it looked like they were talking to some kind of expert. I tried to pause to see if that looked like somebody familiar, and it didn't really look like somebody familiar to me.
Oh well, they'll be familiar soon.
Yes.
And the big thing, everybody's shoving their head under the oscillator, which terrified me. I thought I was going to fall on them, but it looks like the money pit's about to collapse. Yikes-os. They're like, we have to stop.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. It looked like they showed some kind of video, or maybe it was just a still image that they moved around, but it appeared that around the caisson was had fallen in. Did you see that?
Yeah, it looked a little crazy and sketchy.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to scare everybody. You would have figured if something major like that happened, we maybe would have heard about it through other means.
I don't know.
I know they keep a tight ship there, but if it's something that would have stopped everything, yeah, I don't know. Because
maybe it's what pushed them.
Well, they've also been picked up for next season already for more than 30 hours of content. If they couldn't work in the money pit anymore, I don't think they're going to have another season. Not
even
that
if they
big.
couldn't work in the that exact location, they'd still be able to work in the money pit.
Well, they definitely still have the swamp to go, right?
Yeah, there is more than 30 hours of content left on that island.
Yeah, well, I know, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem like I think they're trying to get people to worry to tune in.
Well,
I think
of course,
it's just a tactic.
That's the joy of television.
Yeah.
You know, they're here to tell us a story, and they're taking us through the journey. What really scared me wasn't like the money pit collapse, was everybody sticking their head under the oscillator to see what was going on. I'm like, get out from under there. Who thinks that's a good idea? It's not.
And they weren't even wearing hard hats.
No.
Somebody keeps saying on Facebook, why aren't these guys wearing hard hats?
You know what? I agree. Safety first.
Meh.
At least wear it if you're going to stick your head under an oscillator.
Yeah.
Like, man.
True that.
And, like, hang yourself down in the hole and, like, oh, man, that's just not cool. That's dangerous. No bueno. I don't like that. I'm concerned for everybody's health and safety right now.
I'm not.
Why not?
I think they're good.
And then we find out the next week we're not getting any of that stuff.
That's the following week. So we got Mr. Matty Blake doing his special on the paranormal on Oak Island.
Yeah, and they're like sticking microphones. I mean, they're sticking microphones down into the money pit, and they get freaked out. And I know that, you know, Rick's talking about some scary screams or something. There's creepy stuff. You know, coyotes also make really terrifying sounds at night. They sound like screaming and dying.
Well, what do you
people.
think Bigfoot sounds like in the middle of the night?
A coyote. There is no Bigfoot out there.
Maybe they disturb the spirits of the money pit, and that's what causes the collapse.
Nah. Nah.
Yeah, I'm still looking forward to the episode.
I don't know. You seemed really like you weren't looking forward to the episode.
I'm just not into like ghosts and stuff.
Like 50 minutes ago.
I'm not so into the ghosts, but I'm willing to watch it.
Oh, yeah. We have to watch it. We got a podcast to record. That's intense. We got to know more about this curse.
Yep. Sure do.
Know all about the curse. About the curse. About the curse.
Of Oak Island.
Yeah. That too. Yeah.
Yep. So, do you have clot-worthy moments?
I do. I wonder what our listeners were thinking about clot-worthy moments this week, if they heard any good ones.
Well, they heard at least one good one.
Yes, at least.
Yeah, because this one was kind of another landslide victory.
Okay, so what won last week?
Well, we took votes on Twitter and, for the first time ever, on Facebook.
Dun, dun, dun.
So Twitter is actually split 50-50, if you can imagine that.
So there's a twist here.
But it was a complete landslide victory for one of the clot-worthy moments over on Facebook. When I add them together and get the percentage, we had 71% for the winner, and this is last week's clot-worthy moment.
Gothic script.
Gothic script, huh? That was the landslide winner?
Yep, like I said, did I say? 79%.
Yeah, you said what it was. I don't remember, but it was over 70.
My bad. I just looked at it again. 71%.
79, 71, same thing. I told you it was in the 70s. Regardless, Gothic script won. That means the new 90-foot stone won.
Yeah, and it's not runic.
Yeah, it's not runic or ruinic or, oh man. Well, this week we have some really good clot-worthy moments.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what you picked.
Oh,
I think there was some. If I remember while watching it, there was some funny stuff, but I can't remember what they are.
oh, there's always funny stuff, but I cannot wait for this first one.
Okay.
Okay, first clip is
Rubber pipes.
Shut up.
I win, and we didn't even have to go back and rewatch it.
You knew that was coming, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I totally had that saved in my back pocket. Yeah. Rubber pipes. Of course they're rubber pipes.
Okay.
Bam. Case closed. This is like Law and Order right here in clot-worthy momentness.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay. Well, my bad. I heard it wrong, okay?
What'd you hear? Not rubber pipes? Like, give me a break.
Okay.
Okay, should we move on to the
Yes,
next
please.
one? I got $10 on rubber pipes wins. Okay. Second clot-worthy moment is
Another flood tunnel system on the South Shore?
on the South Shore.
Yeah, I think that one's gonna win. If I had a vote, or if I could vote, or if I did vote, I would vote for that one.
If I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh man.
Well, that one makes me look less like a fool, okay?
And you like the slightly longer clot-worthy moments. I like them quick and to the point, like rubber pipes. Deidre is right.
Shh. Don't remind everybody.
Oh.
They already heard it, okay?
Oh yeah, they're gonna know.
Okay.
This one we should just label it. Deidre is right. Rubber pipes. Nah, I'm going with just Dan's bone.
Hashtag.
Hashtag. We're not even cool enough to use hashtags, but we're doing it anyways. All right.
Oh, that's going in the Twitter post.
Oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Is it going to be a thing? We got Laird's Concrete, Dan's Bone, Billy's
No,
Wall.
it's Laird's Wall.
But Billy already has a wall.
So?
So why do they both get walls?
I don't know.
That seems very deceptive. It feels like they found the same thing. In this case, sharing is not caring.
Okay. Anyway.
I guess Laird's hashtag is to be debated. So if you have any great ideas for Laird's finding hashtag, please let us know.
Please.
Please, so we can end this debate.
Yes.
Okay,
All right, so,
we gotta toss it to the fans.
yes. I'm going to read some reviews.
Ooh, reviews. Man, we've been flooded with love lately, and can I just say thank you?
Yeah, thanks. It feels great to get these things in our inbox and read them. It's a lot of fun. Thank you.
We heard from some Canadian reviews this week.
Yes, I'm going to read one of our Canadian reviews.
If you put in a Canadian review a while ago, we just now are seeing it.
Yes.
So I am sorry.
Yeah, so I want to share this review. It's 5 stars from Mr. Zamboni
Mr. Zamboni, man,
from Canada.
I wonder if he drives a Zamboni for a living.
That would be sweet, huh?
That would be awesome. Can I come?
You want to ride on the Zamboni?
Yes.
They
Why
let children do that at hockey games.
Well, maybe I wasn't cool enough to do that.
No, I'm just calling you a child.
That's fine. Children love adventures. All right, Mr. Zamboni, let's hear it.
All right, so Mr. Zamboni had this to say.
Is it a mister?
Yeah, it says Mr. Zamboni.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't want to like miss.
You don't want Miss Zamboni to
Yeah, feel left
bad?
out
Yeah,
if
no.
I. Yeah.
No, Mr. Zamboni says, just found out yesterday, guys, and I'm already on my 5th episode. Fresh insight into the show and nice to learn about more of the groups. Love the best line award. Hashtag Clotworthy moment.
Yes.
Every podcast. Well, thank you, Mr. Zamboni. That's great.
That is great, and he's only got to episode 5. That means he suffered through the first ones and is still with us and still wrote a good review.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, our first few episodes were kind of hard to listen to when we go back and listen to parts of them.
Man, that's painful. You guys are troopers.
Yeah, well, I think more people are kind of just listening to the newer ones, which is probably good.
That is good. So best listener awards go to you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
love that review.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Zamboni. We've got another review. This one's from the United States.
All right.
It's from Amazingly Bad.
Ooh.
It says, a great listen for those who like Oak Island. They work great with each other. It's so informative and entertaining. 5 stars.
I'm leaning with more entertaining than informative.
Hey, it's in the eye of the beholder.
That's true. Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, and you know what? This is from Amazingly Bad, but I think it was an amazingly good review.
Amazingly bad to the bone.
Woo woo.
I wonder if she's a Dan Hinsky fan or he or they. Bad to
Who
the
isn't?
bone. I don't know.
Everybody should be a Dan Hensky
They
fan.
totally should. He has been around that island a long time. He knows what's up.
He does know what's up.
Thank you for that wonderful review.
Yes, thank you. It was amazingly good.
It was amazingly good.
So, yeah, that's it.
That's it for this week's. So, next week we dive into the paranormal. I'm going to go in with an open mind. What are you going in with? Okay, I may not be going in with an open mind.
My mind's already more open than yours.
Yeah, mine's shut. I will try to open it by then.
Hey, it doesn't matter. We'll have some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yes. Yes. Yes, we will, because it's Oak Island. Love me some Oak Island.
Yep. So where can they find us?
They can find us
If they're looking.
Well, if
Hey,
you're looking for us.
You know what? You should look for us and like our Facebook page, because we have, at time of recording, 497 followers.
Yes. What is that? That is amazing.
Yeah, we need 3 more to get to 500, so I think we could do that tomorrow.
Yeah, who wants to be number 500? That'd be cool.
No prize.
No, but it's still cool. And I know for some of you, maybe that doesn't seem like very much. For us, we cherish each and every one of you and all of your likes.
Yeah, well, we thought maybe we'd get a few dozen people to listen to us. We weren't
Right.
expecting anything like what we're getting now. So thanks to everybody that has given us a shot and stuck with us.
Exactly. It's kind of like I thought just my mom would listen.
Nah.
No, you guys are wonderful.
You actually got your mom to start watching
I
the show.
did. I got mom to start watching the show.
And some friends.
Yes, and some friends and all the good stuff.
Yeah,
So everybody's addicted now. We're bringing more people into our circle.
exactly. So now, if anybody wants to help us, they should go and get their friends
And
to
tell
listen
them.
to our podcast.
And like we were just saying, find us on Facebook at Oak Island Podcast. You can also find us on Instagram at Oak Island Podcast.
You can email us at oakislandpodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can find us tweeting away over on the Twitter at
Oak Island Pod.
That's right. So we look forward to connecting with you this next week and chatting with you on the other side. So until next time.
Could it be?
Back to the drawing board.